Hey, what's up? It's Lucas here. So 10.7 just dropped earlier for Battle Cats EN, and I just kind of want to make a quick video. I don't know how quick will I be, considering how often I go into a tangent, but I kind of just want to talk a little bit, a freestyle, without really much script, on kind of just, I guess, my thought on the recent updates. And yeah, I kind of just want to talk about it a little bit. It's not like something really big or whatever. I just think I just want to share my thoughts a little bit. Mostly, I guess, on like the previous 3 updates or so. Maybe not 3, maybe more than just 3, but I guess just the recent updates. Let's talk about the 10.7 for now. There are quite a lot of changes on, compiling pretty much recent updates, but at the same time, you might say, oh, it's not really that much. There's not like that much crazy-ass talents or game-breaking game mechanics or whatever. But I thought there are things that might be worth pointing out. Aside from just some of the, I guess, cool talents we got recently, like the cyborg talents we got on 10.5 and Ervanda talents on 10.7, which is also honestly really cool, I would say. There's also Lufalan talents, but I'm not really interested in that. I think Ervanda's talent is really cool though. I think one of the probably weirdest change there is on 10.7 is the change of stars being crowns. I don't really understand why they did this. Well, I mean, I do understand they did it. They mostly probably did it just so that you don't confuse the new difficulty stars that you get to see on each chapters or something. But even then, it's like, surely you can show the difficulty without using the star symbol and just use something else. I don't know, I feel like this change is really weird. No, I think the change for like showing the difficulty itself, I think it's cool actually. But the fact that you had to use star, which in turn changed the current star into crown, I think it's really weird, and I kind of hope they would do something about that, honestly. That's one. There's also like the new button to switch out maps, which is okay, I guess. It's alright. The other recent thing that I think is kind of worth noting that is probably not really that big when you look at it at first on like the changelog, but in retrospect it's actually kind of big in my opinion, which is the recent new combos. Combo updates generally aren't really that big of a deal. It's mostly just, oh, you get like random ass combos that gives you like 10% resistant effect that you're not going to ever use, with like 4 different wacky ass units that you're not ever going to use in the same lineup ever. But recently they've actually kind of been giving pretty good combos actually. On 10.6 they give a attack up small combo with Cutter Cat and Little Brave. They give a bunch of combos for the Grandon units on 10.6. Pretty much every Grandon unit gets a combo now, but I think the only 2 notable combos are that Cutter and Little Brave with attack up small, and Backhoe and Little Whale, if I'm not mistaken, for critical chance up, which is like a 1% chance up. It's I said it's notable, but it's like it's probably still not gonna be used that much. Even though both Little Island and Backhoe does benefit from the crit up, it's also like the 2 units you're probably not going to ever use in a critical stage, so yeah. But I would say it's at least more notable than the rest of the combos that we got for Grandons. The other one, the Cutter Cat and Little Brave, the reason why I think it's actually like pretty notable. First of all, the only other attack up small that we have that is actually like relatively accessible without Uber is the Neneko combo, which has a limited super rare on it, and well, Cutter Cat is also a limited super rare, but at least now we got double the chance of getting a unit that has a attack up combo that only fills up 2 slots. And not only that, Cutter Cat is also a really good unit to have in general. If you're in a stage that you're going to bring Cutter Cat in, and you have 1 spare slot, then you can bring Little Brave, and you have your entire units to be boosted up by 10% damage, and I think that's pretty neat actually. It's also even better when you realize that Cool Japan, pretty much the only reason why you would want to buy Pastry Cat, is a 15% up damage with 4 slots. Meanwhile, if you have Sister Sack and a new Cutter combo, it gives you a 20% boost of attack for 4 slots. which means that there's even less reason to buy Pastry Cat now. Especially considering that his talents is also absolute garbage. So I think that's really cool, actually. That's quite a game changer for a more reason to not buy Pastry Cat. As for the other combos, recently we also got new combos with the first 3 Little Cats. Little Tank, Little Macho, and Little Brave. Little Brave got another combo with Torcat, which is strong up small. It's not really that good, but at the same time, Strong Up is also not that bad of a combo. Strong Up is probably one of the better combos to have, but there's a lot of choices for Strong Ups, and probably will only really be good if you're also bringing Maximum the Fighter somewhere, but even then, Maximum the Fighter's not a unit that a lot of people bring in the first place. But I think it's pretty notable to keep in mind at the very least. The other 2 is actually really good. Little Macho and Little Tank has gotten a combo that is actually really good. First of all, Little Tank got a combo with Commando Cat, which involves Cameraman, by the way, and it's a defense up. That's actually really good when you consider both of these on true form are like probably the main core units for 4-star. You know, you're probably gonna bring Little Eraser and Cameraman everywhere, and you can just slap them in with like absolutely zero consequence on your lineup and have defense up applied to your entire lineup. That's insane! It may not be like insane deal, but there are times where it's like, oh man, this is actually like very convenient to have. You're essentially losing almost no slot depending on the stage. Defense up buff. That's crazy! And you can still probably use this outside of 4-star too, considering Little Eraser is not that terrible of a meat shield, and you're probably going to bring Cameraman a lot in a lot of stages. Yeah, it's a very notable combo to have. You're probably not going to bring it like everywhere, but it's still very notable, all things considered. The other one, Little Macho, got a combo with Jurassic Cat on Research Up. This is pretty much this is the 3rd research up we have that is a 2-slot with no Uber. The other one being Biohazard and Bony Bone, which takes up 3 slot when you use them up together. Which means we have a non-Uber research up combo that can fill up 5 slots that can cut down 2.4 seconds. That is also pretty insane, actually. This is the first time we are able to do this. Previously, we have to use Ubers for getting more than what essentially is a medium research up. But now we got an equivalent of a large research up without using any Ubers. Granted, it takes up 5 slots, so it's extremely situational. But when you combine this with Rock Cat, it's actually insane. Rock Cat, or well, Stone Cat, I guess. Stone Cat gets quite a lot of more mileage out of this 5-slot research combo. It's pretty insane. You can use this very, very well on Cappy Jr. and it'll absolutely destroy the stage. It's really good. What's also pretty crazy, I think, about this research combo is that, you know how a lot of people use this little Mohawk because it has an extra cooldown on it? Well, if you just use this research combo alone, even without using Biohazard and Bony Bone, it would cut down Little Mohawk's cooldown to just barely above the minimum, which means that it's pretty much almost back to like a normal cat cooldown. Meaning that if you're going to a stage where you're going to bring Jurassic Cat anyways, like a crit stage for example, and you want to bring like your usual 3 meat shields with like 2 erasers and 1 Crazed Cat or something like that, you can switch out like Crazed Cat into Little Mohawk, and you got a cooldown reduction for all of your units. And your Little Mohawk is basically cheaper now. Well, I guess it really depends on the stage or whether you need like Crazed Cat, or maybe you don't need a Little Mohawk or something like that. A Little Mohawk as a extra meat shield or something like that. But I still think it's like a very solid choice to have to bring into a middle stage. And once again, similar to a Little Eraser and Camera combo earlier, it's almost inconsequential. It's almost free to activate this combo, and it affects your entire team. This addition of Research combo is insanely good, and I think it's pretty insane. And considering that this is still just the first 3 littles, that means that they might actually add even more little combos that doesn't require Ubers. And if that's the case, and if the case is actually like as good as the first 3 combos that we have, I think I'm very much looking forward on what other combos Ponos have in mind for the other units. Combos are probably not amongst one of the more hyped up things when you're looking up in an update. Usually just looking for if your favorite Uber has a new talent or whatever, or just some crazy ass new mechanic or new legends or new advents or something like that. But this is probably an exception, because these combos are actually pretty damn hype, and I don't think a lot of people are talking about it that much. Speaking of advents, this is not on 10.7, but I think it's more on 10.6 and 10.5, in which in 10.5 they added new missions, which is basically telling you to clear advents using certain restrictions. I think if I'm mistaken, it's like possibly using only evolved forms, or what was it, like Hanya with only basics or something like that. I think that's actually pretty cool, and I think that's the first time Ponos has ever really done this sort of thing with missions. I didn't even know this was possible before, because Ponos never really did this before, which is being able to check restrictions that you can apply to yourself on completing a stage. And I think that's a really cool idea, that you get to be able to have like this extra reward for beating a stage with restriction that isn't like a, how do you call it? It's not like, it's more of like a side thing, you get what I'm saying? And I think that's really cool that they're able to do this, and I'm pretty looking forward for what they can do more on these sort of things, like missions to clear certain stages with using certain restrictions, because it doesn't force the players to do certain restrictions, rather it just rewards the player for doing certain restrictions. I think that's really cool, and it's honestly kind of weird and low-key disappointing that they did not continue off of that on the last two updates, because I'm really looking forward on more of these, but they didn't add any more of these sort of missions, and I just think it's like, why? I think this mission is really cool. Why didn't they do more of these? But yeah, I really hope they do more of that, because it's a really good idea to just reward the player instead of forcefully restricting them. Yeah, I think it's cool, and I think Polo should do more of that. And the other thing that is also I'm going to talk about, and I think probably this is the last thing that I have in mind, which is Barons. Nobody likes Barons, right? But they did some different new things on Barons on the last two updates. On 10.6, they give us monthly Barons, which I wasn't sure if it was even active on EN, but it was active on JP, which is essentially like a 10-stage Baron that lasts for like half a month. There's basically like two parters from level 1 to level 10 on the first half of the month, level 11 to level 20 on the second half of the month. And I think this is probably one of the better Barons of all, because first of all, it's only 10 stages. Second of all, it actually lasts a while. Third of all, it actually has some decent rewards. I think it has a lot of good sides of Barons, well, not really good sides of Barons, rather, even though it doesn't directly fixes a lot of infuriating problems with Barons, such as inflated ass magnification or the 30 minutes delay and stuff like that, it does indirectly compensate for it. For one, these Barons last for quite a while, and since there's only 10 stages, you can basically do just one Baron stage per day, and you'll complete it just fine. And even if you don't do it per day, you still have quite a lot of days to skip, and you'll still be able to complete the Baron, because it lasts for quite a while. It lasts for a long time, and there's only 10 stages instead of the 60 stage we got. Speaking of, actually, they've also been trying to change that. The 60 stage Barons, the 3 chapters of Barons that has 20 stages, they actually changed that recently. Or rather, they only did this to change on Baron Seal recently, but I don't doubt that they're going to change it for the rest of the Barons. Baron Seal recently got a change, in which, rather, maybe it's not quite a change, but it seems that they've planned to change Baron Seal, that instead of being a 3 chapter with 20 stages each, it's just 1 chapter with 20 stage, but with all of them compressed into one. So basically what happens is that instead of the usual we got Red Alert from level 1 to 60, we only got level 1 to 20, except that the way it works is like this. Before, 1 to 20 is the exact same stage, 21 to 40 is the exact same stage, and 41 to 60 is the exact same stage, all with just different magnifications, right? So what happens in this new compressed Baron Seal is that 1 to 5 has the schematic of the first Baron Seal, which is the level 1 to 20. Level 6 to 10 has the magnification of the second Baron Seal, the one from 21 to 40, and from 11 to 20 is the last Baron Seal from 41 to 60. The magnification scales up, so it's like level 1 Baron Seal is still basically like level 1, but level 5 Baron Seal is more similar to like level 20 Baron Seal. And yeah, it's not the exact same, but that's basically how it kind of works out. And I think that's actually really cool. For one, it's not doing the same 3 stages 20 times, and well, it's a step at the right direction, I would say. I still think Baron is still kind of sucky, but I definitely think it's a step to a better direction, for sure. It's not as boring as the old Baron Seal, I can definitely say that at the very least. But yeah, I'm actually pretty looking forward on these sort of direction. Recently, I think a lot of people have been saying it's like, oh, Ponos hasn't been like doing that much like hype updates recently, but like these small changes, I think they're actually doing pretty well. And I think a lot of these changes are going pretty underappreciated, and I just kind of want to talk about that for the most part. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all that I want to say. I know it's a little bit random, and there's no script, so I'm kind of just talking randomly out of my fucking head. But yeah, I just think that's, I just want to let it out there. Because I feel like, hey, someone's gotta appreciate these sort of stuff that kind of goes under the radar for a lot of people. I know there's a lot of people in like Discord that are already aware of these, but I guess YouTube community are generally a little bit more lost on these sort of updates, and they're usually just looking at like the hype crazy talent zone, like the crazy new logo with the level 500 surge and 10,000 billion% critical chance or something like that. But you know, I just think like these small updates are cool, and I just want to appreciate it. So yeah, that's all for now. Thank you for watching. See ya!